We had to jump out of our Combox chairs and come straight into these chairs. We didn't have the time at all because India have wrapped up South Africa within 13 overs. It's a very unhappy Shaun Pollock in the studio. And of course, Joy Bhattacharjya, who's got a big smile on his face because he is in the colours of golden and green.
Why am I unhappy? I won my guessing game.
Yeah, both of you won your game.
Yeah, that's the only thing the South Africans won today is a guessing game. So, well done on that, because unfortunately it was just a day which South Africa wants to forget. We'll quickly have a look at what happened today. They won the toss and we thought that, all right, 175, maybe India should have gotten a little more, but clearly not, because 74 all out is what India have done. Akshar Patel 2, Jasprit Bumrah 2, Varun Chakravarti 2, pretty much everyone getting those wickets. Joyda, this was much quicker than one would have anticipated, but complete dominance from India once again.
Complete dominance, and I think somewhere the South Africans just refused to stop swinging. Even when they were in trouble and you felt that they had to bat out 3-4 overs, maybe stabilize things a lot, and they've hit 1-6 for the over, then suddenly you see them trying to whack the other one out of the ground. So I think some poor shot selection there. There were some good deliveries. There was decent bowling from the Indians, especially up front. I thought Arshdeep was very good. But it's not as if, I think a lot of it was the South Africans' own doing, South Africa's own doing.
Yeah, you do wonder. I mean, I sometimes think, what do they discuss in the dressing room? What goes on? I mean, we worked it out here that the first 5 or 6 overs were going to be difficult. If they didn't lose wickets there, they'd give themselves a real chance. And I also think when you go into each game, you've got to come up with or adapt your game plan into what's required in order to try and chase down a particular score on a particular surface. You have to treat it as a one-off. Because in this tournament play, eventually it comes down to you have to win a game. You have to beat someone to qualify, whether it's a quarter-final, semi-final, final. And I don't think they were prepared to adapt it. I think they wanted to play a certain way. I did mention the Combox. I think sometimes early on in these T20 tournaments, people aren't sure about how they should play, how they should pace of play. How they should structure their innings. And they probably come up with a mindset of wanting to play too many shots. I mean, how many overs are left? 8 overs left. South Africa's led to bat and everyone's back in the dressing room. So I think therein lies the issue. But I think South Africa will probably come out in the press conference and say, well, let's just write this one off to bad experience and see what we do in the next game. But credit goes to India. I thought their bowlers were superb. They used that new ball well. And then every spinner that came to the equation hit his areas, didn't give anything away for free, and kept that pressure applied.
Well, exactly what Polly is saying, Joyda. They did the basics correct. India came out. Arshdeep was very good. Bumrah in his first spell didn't get any wickets. 2 overs, 14 runs. Of course, came back later and got those 2 wickets. But the spinners came on and they were just going after those stumps. They were bowling very, very tight lengths. So just doing the basics right is what India did. And like you said, then false shots, unnecessary swinging of the bat. So South Africa helped.
Absolutely. And, that's my point. I mean, say, Quinton de Kock got out and he got out early. Nice swinging ball early up front. That's a really good ball to get that early in the innings. It can happen. But those kind of dismissals you can say. But say a couple are down, you've got it. Now you're getting a little bit of an idea. And you've seen the only guys who've actually scored runs are the guys who've survived for 15, 20, 25 balls. Give yourself a chance, and they just didn't give themselves a chance. I thought India was good, and some of them, what can Akshar do? The ball's not turning very much, so they're just bowling at the stumps. They're doing exactly what Donovan Ferreira did. Akshar did what Donovan Ferreira did, just darting it in, and they just played all around him. The first ball he bowls, they're trying to force him off, and he just bowls straight into the stumps. So I think that's the thing. I think what they look at themselves and say that okay, we've lost a couple of wickets. We have a chance to adjust now. Okay, we've lost a few more. We still have a chance now because we have a long batting order. We bat quite deep. We bat up to 8. What can we do now? And then also, that's the second thing. The third is obviously they haven't given them... they are probably a better shot because under normal circumstances, Corbin Bosch plays. And that gives them one more batter. But given the way they batted today, they could have had 3 more and it might not have mattered.
Still not the difference, yeah.
But Polly, just to understand, do you think India outplayed them in every department? Because do you think the South African bowler should have been better and 175 was maybe too much? Yes, of course, the batting 74 is really nothing. But do you think the bowler should have restricted India as well?
I wouldn't be critical of their first 10 overs at all. I thought they were fantastic. The way they started, they had India under pressure. I think it's also a case where when those first 10 overs go well, you're not too sure what a good score is.
Correct.
Yeah, because you think, oh, we're doing a good job. So you don't maybe hammer home the issue. Like you probably wouldn't get a captain saying, okay, we've got them 5 down, but we have to bowl them out for 140. You go, like, oh, what are you on about? We've got them in a good position. And when you look back after you've batted, you realize actually it was difficult to bat on that surface, particularly if you hold a good length. So, I mean, South Africa might analyse and say, well, maybe we gave too much to hit to Hardik Pandya, but besides him, no one else got away. So maybe our plans could have been a little bit better to him. But I still think 170 odd, there was nothing wrong. It wasn't that difficult if you applied yourself. I mean, if they talked about how they wanted to bat, not bowl first because they wanted the dew to come in when they were batting. Well, you've got to get to about 14 or 15 overs before the dew's going to take effect. And even the approach up front, you absorb because you know that once that ball gets dewy, we've seen it in the one-day series, it's very difficult for the bowlers to come and bowl at the back end. So give yourself a chance of putting them under pressure. You know, if you need 12, 15 and over with 2 or 3 overs to go and you've got 4 wickets in hand, you've still got a chance.
Well, Joyda, just no partnerships. They kept losing wickets at every interval. They started in the first over and we have a look at it here. Just absolutely no partnerships whatsoever. And like what Polly was saying, all he said was play the first 6 overs slowly, set yourself in, but clearly the first 6 overs, 4 wickets down.
Correct. And 24 is the longest partnership. I mean, you look at it, I mean, that's the longest partnership. And I think that's what I think what's happened to South Africa, because look at it, this is the same South African team who I thought batted beautifully during the ODI series. They built innings, they got together, they really did well. They finished well, Bosch finished well, Jansen finished well, Markram batted beautifully, and then they played him out of position. That's another story we'll talk about later. But I think they almost over-adjusted for T20 cricket. You know, you say 50-over cricket and they say, okay, 20-over cricket, you bat a bit faster. And I think they thought they were playing 5-over cricket because at the pace they wanted to bat, they were trying to hit everything out of the ground. And in 20-over cricket, you still have 120 balls. I mean, all they needed to do was look at the Indian innings, which was really struggling, and say that if you can hang around, somewhere you're going to, one of the batters gets going. And if Hardik Pandya could have hit that the way he did, Marco Jansen is equally capable, as we saw in the few shots that he did hit, the way he hit it out of the ground. He's perfectly capable of doing it. Just hang around there. And I thought the good thing that the Indians did was that, I mean, like they bought Bumrah back in the 12th or 13th, you know, just 10th or 11th, just finish it off. Come on. Now we are 6 down, let's go for the jugular. Yeah, exactly. Go for the jugular, finish it off. And I think that is something that was, I think India was more attacking, but obviously by that time you're already 6 down, so your opportunities are also more.
I think you have to also be smart all the time. I think after 5 overs, South Africa were 40 for 2.
Yes.
And they brought in Akshar Patel. Now, we've played him in the Test series. Akshar Patel was not turning the ball in the Test series. You know, the other bowlers were spinning it, but he wasn't. He's kind of like fires it at the stumps. Markram got cleaned up with one that skidded through, much like what Donovan Ferreira. So if you communicate, if Keshav Maharaj and Donovan Ferreira go back into the dressing room and say, we didn't get any turn. There was nothing for us. Everything was just skidding on. As a batting unit, you know what to expect. So you're looking to play straight rather than looking to play across the line of it. But I suppose South Africa going forward now, what could they do? Possibly team-wise, there's George Linder and Bosch in means that the batting lineup becomes even longer and you've still got your bowling options. So that could be a plan for them. But I think they'll more go away from this game thinking we could have been smarter about the way we approached it, particularly in the batting.
Well, Joyda, for India, you happy with the way they went ahead with Bumrah in the first 2? Because there's lots of discussion on will he take those 3 up front, which he has been doing consistently. But today he bowled those first 2. Arshdeep bowled those in the power play as well. You happy with that structure?
I am, because they got wickets as well. If you remember, they got wickets. I mean, so if they had got no wickets, I think if they were 0 down and the 5th over started, 4 overs over, the 5th over started, Bumrah might just have kept him for 1 more over and say, this is not a big enough total, we need to take 1 more wicket up front. But once they got that wicket, then this wicket started falling regularly. They didn't think they needed to bring in Bumrah till they wanted to finish off the game.
Well, he's now the 5th bowler to get 100 wickets in all 3 formats. Jasprit Bumrah just keeps breaking those records, doesn't he? Polly, he's there at number 5, but we've seen what he does again. He came back in that second spell. He knew he had to clean it up, and he's just someone who knows how to do it so quickly, which he did today again.
Yeah, I mean, he's a spectacular bowler. And, if you think about the T20 World Cup coming up, what do you want? You want a person with the skills of Bumrah up front. If he can bowl you 2 overs, He gets the ball to swing, he's got control, he's got an unorthodox action, he comes in a different angle. There's a lot of things going for him where he's going to make inroads into most batting lineups. You've got Arshdeep, who's bowling the other side, getting the ball to swing in those first three, so that's fantastic. And then you've got Bumrah to come back in the middle if you're searching for a wicket. You know, if there's a partnership you need to break, and then his unbelievable death ability. So much like Lasith Malinga was for Sri Lanka and for MR, he can get you wickets up front, in the middle, and at the back end, and you can't ask for more. The only thing you would want is more overs from him. You'd want to be able to use him for 5 or 6 because you would use him in the whole way through the innings. So, yeah, I mean, he's spectacular with the skills that he possesses and the control. And you also just feel he's at that stage of his career now where he's so confident about what he's trying to do. I don't think he needs much time in the nets. He's just got that self-belief to back himself in all situations.
You're talking about his skill set, Paul. I just want to ask you, is it his pace that undoes the batters, or is it the precision, or is it a combination of both, which is tough?
It's both. It's, I mean, his control. He doesn't give you free balls to hit. You know, Arshdeep searches and goes full to try and get the ball to shape. Bumrah doesn't have to do that because he just holds his length. He skids onto you. He's got an unorthodox action. How do you prepare for that? I mean, you got to get those people to kind of throw sidearm from one different angle. It's completely different to anything you say. He's got a wonderful flick of the wrists. He's got that slow ball variations. And as I say, I think the big thing about him is consistency. So he's got all the options and the variations, but his consistency doesn't give you anything away for free. And he's just at you all the time with whatever format you're playing. So it makes him very difficult to get away.
Well, someone who was at it today, Joyda, was Hardik Pandya. He was the MVP. That P stands for Pandya, of course, because he came out with the bat, came out with the ball, very nonchalantly came out. That first ball to David Miller, he knew he had gotten it. So he just looked like he had come out today to really trouble South Africa.
Yeah, look, he's come back from injury. He played one Shahid Mushtaq Ali match, did well, got runs out there, full of confidence. Came out early in the, one day before the team came out there, had an extended batting and bowling session. And then, like Hardik Pandya's want to do, took a day off. When the team was practicing, he took a day off and he took it easy. But he came back. He's very important to India's plans because he's that fast bowling, medium pace all-rounder is somebody that is a very, very different thing. And the other thing is that he's very different from most of the Indian bowlers because he uses the back of the length a lot. Most of the other Indian bowlers don't. So you'll see get him a lot of wickets to short balls or to balls which are not at least up to the length of the batter. And I think he just changes the way the attack is. And if he is there, then India always has the option in India of playing a third spinner as well, which they could have done if the circumstances were different. So they can play Arshdeep, they can play a third spinner. He opens up options for them. And what he does with the bat is just that unbelievable finishing. How many finishers are like that around?
I think he's got aspirations, hasn't he? I mean, we've seen in the RPL, whenever he's in charge, he had aspirations of batting at 3 or 4. But I think his best job is at the back end. He is a destructive hitter. He seems to have the mindset of taking the pressure on his shoulders, much like what Dhoni did for many years, where they're kind of prepared to take it deep. They don't panic too early. They're prepared to back their skills and ability to whack it. So I think with all the batting that India have got, I think not a lot of people have got that kind of mindset, that they like the challenge of trying to get a team over the line or get a team out of trouble. So I actually think this is his best batting position. I think that's where his real strengths come out. Not saying he can't have an innings where you get off to a good start, you can promote him and let him go and whack it and see what he can do. But I think he thrives under that situation of the team's in trouble, they need me, or the team needs me to get them over the line, and he produces.
Well, Jodha, today India went ahead with 2 specialist spinners. South Africa, of course, with only Keshav Maharaj. There was chat about how Cuttack, that red soil, maybe it will help pace more. The spinners didn't really turn the ball too much. They were bowling just onto the stumps, but maybe a lesson for South Africa where they should have picked another spinner?
No, but see, it's the spinners. I think what the Indian spinners did well was the way they bowled. I mean, they didn't try and the ball. Ball wasn't there to turn. And Varun Chakravarti, that's what he does. He keeps it at a length. He is hoping that you'll make a mistake. You'll either try and whack him and the ball will go straight up, or he's going to get an LB or something in the stumps because he's just bowling into you. He's trying to get you to play at every ball. And I think that's what they've done well. The Indian spinners bowled well. I don't think Keshav Maharaj is that kind of bowler because Varun, difficult part is you don't face too many bowlers like Varun Chakravarti. So, when you come up against him, no matter how much research you've done, how much action you've seen, batting against him is a different thing altogether. And Akshar just played to his strength, just dart the ball in. He saw Donovan Ferreira, he must have seen what the lesson of this pitch was, and he just played it that way.
I think also if they'd started, I mean, obviously the ODIs started at 1:30. If you had started your game at 1:30, I think they would have considered a third spinner. But I think, obviously, the talk, when you see Markham come to the toss and say, well, because of the dew, we're going to bowl first, the talk at the time would have been, with the game starting at 7 o'clock, maybe it might end up being difficult for the spinners to hold. So to have 3 of them might have been a challenge, and that's probably why he missed out. It'd be interesting to see, I mean, what time of year, the World Cup's what, February? There's no real issues with dew at that stage, it'll be a bit warmer.
I mean, we've had issues with dew even in the IPL.
You will have issues with dew. This February, late February, when you come towards the end of the tournament, dew will be a factor.
Well, India's been clinical today. We can't ask for anything better. 101 run win. But having said that, a little bit of concerns for Indian fans just would be wanting Surya Kumar Yadav and Shubman Gill to get those runs, because it's been some time. We've seen India's just been winning all the time, which is why it doesn't hurt. But on that day when the pressure is high, you want Surya Kumar Yadav to come up and show up.
Absolutely. And first Shubman. Shubman 17 T20 innings without a 50. And he bats in the top 3. So you're talking about a guy who bats top 3 and he's just not getting big runs. And Shubman is a guy who's, India expects him. Why do they want him there? Because they feel he's one of the guys who can bat 15, 16 overs. So I think they'll be a tad concerned about his form.
Is that 17 international innings?
17 international innings. But T20s, he hasn't got a 50. So I think he's struggling. I mean, just that tad bit, I think there's pressure under him. But in India, see, because India is such a formidable, such a juggernaut, we can afford to carry players right now. And Surya also...
Well, this will be the 44th game and just 4 losses. So clearly we don't think of it because India has just been winning constantly, but it is a concern.
Yeah, and Surya, the thing about it is that Surya, that's what I'm saying. Surya looks good every time he enters the crease. Surya doesn't look out of touch. And that's the one thing that he'll be asking himself, that is it shot selection? Because clearly it's not that he's not seeing the ball away. When he hits it, it still looks just as good. So I think this is one of those things that he has to play himself through. And
I also think if you had to ask teams around the world, they know Surya and how destructive he can be. So there's like almost that fear factor when he walks to the crease. So even if he's not getting runs, it's only a matter of time before he starts to click. I think from going to the Shubman Gill issue, you think of how well they play in the RPL, but there's no real pressure on you because you're one of the main players and you're never going to be even considered to be dropped, no matter how you go.
Especially for Indian,
and then all of a sudden you come into an Indian side where there's real competition for places. It creates just a little bit of a different mindset, a bit of a dilemma, knowing that, hey, I'm not secure. If I don't produce, Surya is different because he's the captain and they would never say, okay, you have a rest. But I'm saying Shubman Gill, maybe he kind of just feels a little bit of expectation and is probably disappointed in himself that he hasn't been able to get a decent score. If you say it's been 17 innings, I mean, he's a far better player than that. I mean, he should be getting 50s every 3 or 4 knocks that he plays, particularly
especially at the position he bats.
Yeah. So it's just a little extra thing that's put on in your mind, is that, hey, if I don't produce, I could actually not play, which is never the case when you're playing RPL.
And just everyone's, speaking so much about Shubman Gill, the brand, Shubman Gill, the all-format captain, which they probably will make him T20 captain as well in the future. He's still a young kid. To have all this pressure around you, Joyda, you've seen people, young cricketers grow into becoming great cricketers, but do you think it's just too much pressure on him?
We used to say that when you saw Virat walk into those shoes or any of these guys, and they just look, Shubman doesn't look at all fazed by it. I mean, if he's fazed by it, it's not something that the world can see because he's handling it very well. He is a test captain. I mean, he has that ability to be able to captain, and so far, I don't think he's looked as if he's nervous or been under pressure, but there must be a lot of pressure on him because, I mean, he is like what we have done. Literally, the selection committee has said, you are the future India captain in all
Yes.
formats. And they've anointed him, and you're going to play T20s because we see you as a captain on all these formats for time to come.
Well, there's lots to discuss, and there are 4 more games happening. Of course, the next game happens day after tomorrow. It is happening on the 11th, and this happens in New Chandigarh. Polly, South Africa will want a better day. They'll want to, like you said, ride this one off because, well, 74 all out, within 13 overs, nothing to write home about. What are the learnings they're going to have from today's game?
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, isn't it? It's just the one day off until they play the next game. I think team selection might change. As I say, I think they'll want to get a little bit more depth to their batting, considering how it's gone. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bosch comes in place of Sapamla, or if George Linder's given a go in place of Keshav Maharaj. That would be... I don't see them changing the batting. You've got Reza Hendricks there, but after one go, I don't think there'll be any changes from that perspective. So I think one of those all-rounders will just come in place of a specialist and give them a bit more depth. But as it works these days, I think they'll just write this one off. They'll say, bowling-wise, we were really good for 12 or 13 overs. Batting, we never really got ourselves in, but let's get ourselves back into the series.
Any changes you see, Joyda, in the South African
Exactly
team?
the same as you said.
Or will David Miller move around? Will he play where he plays?
I think you can't batters. They won't change after a single match. I would definitely bring in Linde and Bosch. Bosch especially because you just lengthen your batting. And if you've got out for 74, I mean, makes a very good case for lending your batting. I think the best thing to happen to them is the fact that there's very little time before the next match. They'll go to sleep tonight, get up next morning, you're flying. You're not going to have any time to practice. You just go there, maybe have a look at the field. Next morning you're out. The next evening you're out playing. So I think short turnaround sometimes, especially if you have really bad losses, short turnarounds are not a bad thing because they don't allow you to dwell on it.
Yes.
You just say, okay, forget it, let's move on, go to the next match.
Well, India will want to pack their winning ways to New Chandigarh as well. So they will go back with this confidence of the first T20I, the confidence of the last 44 T20Is that we've played because everything seems to be going right for India. But again, selection-wise, one game, do you want to see the team give other people chances, any movement at all or not change or win?
I wouldn't think they'd make much change at all. I think their plan now would be to try and win 3 games as quickly as they can and then have a look at the depth of their side, win the other 2 and give themselves a chance to fiddle. But yeah, no one really fired. I think they want their batters to fire. So I'm sure they'll just try and keep it after having won. I mean, it's always you have a look at the surface. Maybe the surface is conducive to an extra spinner or conducive to Ashit Rana to play. We'll have to wait and see about that. But it'll be just tinkering. It won't be any major changes, I wouldn't think.
We've seen a lot of experimentation in the Indian side. Do you see any changes in their
No, I tend to agree with him. They do it after 5. I mean, the only real change you normally make is Kuldeep for a bowler.
Yes.
But since they're going to Punjab, I can't see Arshdeep resting in New Chandigarh. I mean, I wouldn't. But,
Yes. You had said you wanted Surya Kumar Yadav to be your player to watch out for in the ODI. So your players to watch out for, one from each team.
I want to see Markram. I want to see Markram batting because I think he's very vital to their hopes. I mean, for the entire, not just for this tournament, but for the World Cup. And yes, I want to see Shubman Gill get going.
Well, I think Surya's going to get going for India. I think by the end of this tournament, he's going to be playing some good cricket. And I want to see Quinton de Kock. I think he's important as that left-handed option. I mean, Aidan Markram's also vital as the captain and he wants to contribute. But yeah, I think Quinton de Kock will find his form if he can get through the first few overs. And then he looked like he was really destructive in that last one-day international. If we see some of that form, I think he could be a big plus for South Africa.
Well, a lot of IPL teams will be looking at Quinny de Kock and seeing if he gets into good form. And of course, all of India will be hoping that Surya Kumar Yadav and Gill get some big numbers going in the next game. We'll find out, but we need to now find out the answer to Mr. Bhattacharya's question, which we had earlier today and we didn't think about very much.
No, I did. I thought about it. I have no clue. No clue.
No, it's a not that.
Is it a nasty one?
It's a nasty one. This is a bit of one of those balls. It's like Nokia bowling at half stump, really climbs down you. So in 2018, which cricketer he took 6 wickets in the second innings of his Test debut? It was actually a draw. Australia and Pakistan played a draw and held a batting record since 2015. Who is this? And the answer is Bilal Asif, highest score on T20 debut. It got 144 on T20 debut. It's just recently an Indian player got it in the Shahid Mushtaq Ali. So, I mean, it's interesting for a guy who's made his debut, scored a century on T20 debut, but makes a test match debut 3 years later and gets 6 wickets. So he's basically a bowler.
So this T20, is that domestically?
Domestic.
Who got the 144?
Sialkot.
Oh, got now?
Yeah. Okay. No, he got it for the Sialkot Stallions.
Yeah, but who equalled it?
I think it's an Indian player. I think Amit, there's a player called Amit who's just made it.
Oh, okay.
Just Amit
Pati. Okay.
Amit Pasi is what I've been told.
Amit Pasi. Yeah, I could not remember whether it's Padhi or Pasi, but it is Pasi.
Yes.
It is Pasi, of course.
Well, he is from Baroda is what I've been told. Let's have a look at who got the answer correct, because this really was a tough one. Nitin, have you heard of Nitin Crickman?
No, I haven't, but well done, Nitin.
Well done. That's the first new name in a long time.
Yeah, the first new name in a long time.
Hopefully, we see Nitin's name coming in more often. Crickman will be watching out for you. Polly, congratulations to, I'm sorry, the both of us. I had to share the victory with you. But
Well done.
A victory,
Well
at this stage, as a South African, a victory is a victory. If I had to share it with you, that's fine.
So at least something went right, was the prediction game for Polly. But I love having both of you in the studio. Thank you very much for today. It was quick, so if you have any party plans, we're going to let you go right away. Joyda, thank you very much again. We'll be seeing you both day after tomorrow, so I can't wait for that. And we'll let everyone go and let them have their party plans as well. So do join us day after tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live. Good night and goodbye.